Welcome to Why Believe. I'm your host, Chad Ostrowski, and then you say, and I am this week's guest. And introduce yourself.
Beth Windom.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
So here
I am this week's guest.
Yeah.
Okay. I am a full-time student at Fuller Seminary, Theological Seminary. I also work part-time for a social enterprise called Support Group Central. We have a web-based platform that hosts support groups online. And I'm also an artist of sorts.
All right. So Beth, what God do you believe in?
Yes. The God that I believe in is the Triune God, Father, Son, Holy Spirit, or God, Jesus, Holy Spirit. And the Triune God is very unique because this God works together. Father, Son, Holy Spirit is a rather robust definition of what it means to be in communion or to be community. Each of these different persons, as we typically call them in church language, have a distinct role, but not one is higher than the other. All of them, their different roles complement one another. And so when I read the biblical narrative in the throughout the Bible, whether it's in the story of creation or even during the time of the prophets or the time when Jesus was actually on earth, or the formation of the church, you see the Triune God working together in the midst of all those stories. And as I've come to understand and learn about Trinity more, I just see so much beauty in understanding the Triune God in that they're inclusive, they're diverse, they are also distinct, and they kind of embrace the tension of that all. And instead of, I think, they embrace that tension. And in most situations, in how we understand difference and diversity and distinction, we try to make one higher than the other, or we try to say what is good and what is bad, or we try to just make very hard distinctions that don't necessarily embrace all of the distinction. And I think that the Trinity shows such a beautiful understanding of who God is, in that God is diverse, God is distinct in many ways, and God is communion.
Cool. Thank you. I really enjoyed that.
You're welcome.
I think that was a great description of the God you believe in and the Trinity in a way that I haven't heard a lot. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Maybe that already got into it a little bit, but I guess I'll ask it anyway. Why do you believe?
Sure. It's interesting to kind of talk about why I believe, because I have a very personal entry, I guess, or understanding to coming to my faith as a child. And I think that has helped me understand why I believe in the Triune God and why I see the consistency of the Triune God in the Bible and also within my own life. So, as I've told you before personally, I had a brother who was killed in a car accident a couple years before I was born. Mm-hmm. And at the time of his death that week, my mother was praying because we had all been named by meaning, and she was praying to God, asking, why did you take my sunshine away? Because Brian means sunshine. Okay. And his answer to her was joy. And so both me 2 years later and then 7 years later with my sister, we both were given this namesake of joy. My name specifically means the promise or oath of joy, and Julia means youthful song of joy. So we both kind of have this embodiment of this loss, but also life that happened, this recreation that happened within my family. And so I guess as a child, hearing my name and hearing the story of my name and trying to understand what it means to have a brother that I've never met or known, how to love him, how to grieve him. I just really saw the work of God in that, and thought that from a very young age that I had a purpose, that I was supposed to be on the earth for a reason because I have a name, And as I've grown older and as I have come to understand the Triune God better, and I've seen this consistency that the Triune God works in, and that is creation, salvation, and reconciliation. There's just that overarching theme that you see over and over and over again. And even within my own life, I see that there was creation, there was salvation and reconciliation, just in the aspect of the life and death and life of my brother and me and my sister, and how my family has embraced that and lived it and have still instilled love to each other and to others through that living out that tragedy, I guess. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that made sense. I'm curious. So, like creation, salvation, reconciliation. You said you've seen that in your own life, and specifically in the fact that you have a brother who you never got to meet, but whose presence you always felt. Can you identify like moments of creation, salvation, and reconciliation throughout that specific story or your personal history? Yeah. Or maybe that wasn't even your main point. Like, I don't want to get us distracted on all of
that. I mean, it is a major point. I just think that I guess what I was trying to say is, there's this recurring narrative that's taking place, but at the same time, why I believe in the Triune God is because in the midst of that narrative, we see such a beautiful understanding and realistic. It's not unrealistic. It is realistic. Like communion, this embracing of distinctions and diversities, and accepting and flourishing. It's like it's an example and an understanding of flourishing. I guess what I was also trying to say is that, like, I really believe that through the distinctions of the Trinity, we are called to love deeply, and to create humbly and to embody and promote life. Like, I think that is in generally why we exist, and we get to do that through worship.
That sounds awesome.
So that's why I believe. That's why I believe, because I agree, and I can see purpose in life if we are called to love and to create and to embody and promote life. I really truly believe in hope, and the Triune God shows that over and over and over.
You really truly believe and hope, or in hope?
In hope.
Okay, you really truly believe in hope, and you feel like
hope exists. Like, for me, like, there's just this constant hope despite whatever. I was going to say shit, so I'm just going to say it. Like, whatever shit's happening, there still is hope, And And I guess I should say that in a better way. So
That sounded like a great way to me. So, because so it's kind of you feel that like it feels so inherently true that we are designed to love deeply and create humbly and live in community with others, and the Triune God embodies all of those things. And
sure, and I also want to say this to kind of like further that is like living in participation with the Triune God is not a matter of like simple and easy living. It's not utopia, Rather, it allows the possibility for suffering and celebration, but with a mutual dependency, So it allows the complexity of life to happen, but not without purpose.
Okay. So
go ahead.
I'm just curious if I rephrase, like, there is always hope. You have always felt hope, and you have like felt that you have lived into this hope for your family, and hope doesn't make like the Triune God makes sense of that hope for you. The Triune God makes sense of your inherent drive to create humbly and to love deeply and to be in community with others. And it just like, they make sense together, and that's why you believe.
Yeah. You can, that's definitely it. I think it's hope and purpose, and those kind of
purpose.
Those can kind of be correlations, people are always kind of asking, questioning, what's the meaning, what's the purpose of their life? And I really, truly believe that through understanding the Triune God, that it is to love deeply, embody humbly, or create humbly, and embody and promote life.
Embody and promote life. Embody and promote life.
Yep.